Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm Will Dragon, and this is Timberborn. We are playing with the Iron Teeth on the Beaverome map. And, yeah, we're still in the pretty early stages. We're still getting a few things established. We've started to pump out our bad water, and now make some dynamite. We have started our first mega project, which looks something like... There you go! Which looks something like that. Now, I am just going to do a quick bit of editing, which I thought about this earlier today, just before I came on and played, when I thought about the next things that I have to do. Now, I want a sluice, which is fine. I mean, we've got a lot of building to go. I can't quite afford to put one in there just yet, as I don't have the science. But these 2 points need to be for sluices, as there will eventually be, which is going to take a bit of dynamiting, I've just gone and realized, out of the side of here. There will eventually be something that comes up from here for when we have a bad tide. Now, I suppose there doesn't have to be too much, but I'd rather there was. I'd rather it all stayed at roughly the same level. And as I've decided to keep this one fairly flat and flush, that's where we're going to be going from. So that's going to be that. We are trying to increase our beaver population because our numbers are a smidge low compared to what we require. We did go and place another breeding pod. So we do have 5, so we should be closer to about 60 beavers now with the extra we get from our well-being. Let's go ahead and put this up to max game speed, keep things moving along. And our other slight problem, which we just need to keep an eye on, is our contamination levels. As you can see, they are 9 and 10. We have just had a bad tide. That happened at the end of the last cycle. So depending on how long it takes us to get another one, it just doesn't seem to clean out the fastest compared to how fast it fills up. So yep, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully everything's okay in terms of the food and water front. I mean, the water's fine. The food front, we now have 4 mushroom farms, and they're all maturing at a nice staggered pace. So, I mean, if you look at this one now, 13, 6, 99, and then 64. So that should keep us in mushrooms, where we have a beautiful 60 storage of. And that should also then be able to keep our fermenter going most of the time, basically. Now, the problem is we do need to be able to empty this of mushrooms as fast as possible so we can keep... There you go. We can keep things going on and the growth can keep coming up. So what I might do on that, I do see a little bit more of a spot by here. Let's go and grab ourselves another small warehouse for now. And you can be the glory of mushrooms. That would be you, mushrooms. It's weird. The bar seems so low, even though it is on 43 out of 60. It looks like it's actually on 43 out of not a lot. But I suppose that's because these all actually add 180. And that doesn't actually count as the number, because that's technically over storage. But yes, we'll go and get that built. And just to confirm, I believe all of this is, yes, marked as 1 down production. Because we do want to build other things when I ask them to be built. That would be lovely. So yes, we are building up. And now I don't quite know where this is paused. I'm sure I had a very... I wanted to build these things behind it. Did I? Was that the reason? You now hit that and you now hit that would have been the reason. So we can go ahead and build that now. And with the extra beavers coming in, that will allow us to get more builders. And then more builders, thus allowing us to, in fact, build things faster. Like I said, we should be getting around about the 60. That will also allow us to turn our science back on, because that is currently turned off. And so with the numbers around about 60, we should only end up with, I would have thought, 6 or so... kits. Of course, the contaminated adult is also technically part of our population. Now, he takes up space and he doesn't do anything, but that doesn't so much matter with Iron Teeth. He's actually just kind of part of... Well, I suppose if you're struggling for resources, it does. But he is just kind of part of the cycle for whenever he, should we say, comes out the other side. We have an injured beaver. Do we have any? Yeah, we do. We have 2 just there. In fact, we might have a couple more. I think we have one hidden underneath the water tank. Yes, we do. So we've got 3 medical beds, which should be fine in terms of how many of those we have. And we also had the problem of we've kind of run out of scrap metal up here. Now, we do have the stuff down here, but it's in a contamination zone. So that is not good. And the rest of our scrap, if I remember... Let's have a quick scan over the tops of the map. Is all in potential contamination zones. So we do kind of have that problem. Now, what we do have is... Now, this is where I'd kind of just like things unlocked so I could start placing them. I don't necessarily want to be able to build them, but I just want them unlocked so I can start placing all of my blueprints and get things built up. So we're going to have a mine in there. We're going to have a troop station by here, which can operate underwater, I would like to add. Now, buildings don't stop water. That's a fair point. I think even solid buildings, but this is not a solid building, so buildings don't stop water. Now, for us to go and build over the efficient mine, I mean, it doesn't look too tall. I mean, what, 1, 2, 3? I mean, let's do a bit of experimenting. Let's see if we can figure this out. I'm gonna put 3 because I think that's the minimum, and then we'll just... I mean, that's far too much. Don't get me wrong, but we'll attempt to see if we can figure this out. And I would call that a 5. I reckon a 5 is about as high as that thing goes. And so what we shall do is... we need to... Yeah, that'll work. That will work. We can destroy this to begin with, our experiment. And then we will... Now, we don't have dirt, and that also then costs us an extra 3,000 in science. So I think it's going to be levies, to be honest. We will, in essence... build around. And these 2 will get put on there. Three. 4. I mean, we're gonna need dirt to finish this anyway. So... wait, because we can't overhang with levees. So we're gonna need dirt to finish this regardless. And I said 5, right? So, oh, hello. I turned off my building thing. I said 5, so I don't actually need these. I do need those. Now I'm being silly again. Let's go and put those right back. Because although I said 5 for the building of this, I then want the overhangs. And then... yeah, I mean, we're only going to be just below the water anyway, to be perfectly honest. What are we up to? 51 beavers, 43 working. Okay, so that number just continues to grow in the background whilst I'm playing around here. Whilst I'm playing builder and trying to figure out how best to do this. Yep, except those 2 can disappear. And then, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a couple of little overhangs, because the fact that you can overhang by 3 anyway. So, I mean, 1, 2, 3... We might not actually need to. Well, hang on. The fact that these can overhang by 3, which is 1, 2, 3, means that I don't think I actually need these at all. Thanks to the beautiful new overhang mechanics. And then if I were to simply... And then this last one is going to be a tube, which if I place a solid tube down, then put an impermeable floor on top, that will block any water from coming down. And then I think that is, in essence, good. What are we down to? 10 beavers missing? What just happened? I have 5 injured beavers. How did I suddenly end up with 5 injured beavers? Where did they all come from? My explosives factory? I don't know. Was it my explosives factory? How many explosives have I got? 110. I have a lot of storage for explosives. I'm going to go and pause this button so they can calm down and getting themselves injured. Crazy beavers. What they just go and do to themselves? They all just, like, turned up to work today, but they all just, like, fell down the same set of stairs and just, like, one beaver took out 4 others. And the next thing you know, we've got 5 injured beavers. Terrible accident. Where's the safety railing on these stairs, I ask you? Wait, I'm the man in charge. That's probably my fault. So yeah, that'll go up. That'll happen. And so what we'd like to do is not quite how I want it. That's not quite how I want it, and that's not quite how I have to have it. Because you can do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. That's the joy of Timberborn. Well, mostly, within reason. As long as it works inside the game mechanics, that is. And nice, we're only down to 6 people missing now, because we have a few more beavers. We still have 4 injured, mind you. Now, we're going to go and cover this in a layer of dirt. Plus with the build-up thing there, and so, yep, that'll all work out. Will it though? No, it won't. Why won't it? Because it simply won't. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we do actually need those back. And then let's go and design what will be our floating island. Do I dare say paradise? Do I dare call this a future potential paradise? I probably do, to be honest. Okay, so that's obviously a little bit off. We can go ahead and delete a few things because they're slightly out of place. And that you could say is that, but yes. Not sure how happy I am with that overall design. That will in essence be the outside boardwalk And then the central monument, I suppose you could go and say, of what I am planning. And all of it, of course, cannot be seen because none of it's been built. And none of it will be built because none of it has access either. How are we doing? Oh, only 2 beavers missing. That means we have more builders. It also means we're getting some science. All whilst I've been playing with our underwater construction, which is absolutely beautiful. Now I wanted... I mean, probably a sluice is the next thing I'm gonna need to put in, because that is actually part of our current build. After that, when we're gonna need some dynamite, there's another 600. So that's definitely on the cards at the moment. Definitely need a dirt extractor, along with the ability to be able to build terrain blocks. There are lots and lots of things. I mean, we'll try and generally get the things that are going to help us without causing any kind of drainage, if that makes sense. For instance, the dirt extractor and the terrain block cost us beavers. Terrain block not so much, but the dirt extractor very much so. Cost us beavers to be able to build and put them in place. Now, of course, the dynamite doesn't, the sluice doesn't, the transit system does not, which is probably what I'm going to be strongly aiming for as well, so we can get around a lot better. I mean, how long is it taking my guys to get from here up to here? The answer is a hell of a long time. And so that could definitely be improved. So now if we continue to look at this, I think I would want... another transit station here. And I think with that, with the transit station here, which gives access, then this obviously gives access just straight down into the mine. Above the mine, there is definitely going to be things built. All the way around this, there's going to be things built, mostly housing and things along those lines. Which I haven't quite yet figured out, but I will. And do you know what I might actually do? Might do a slight redesign of this. Now, transit stations work underwater because they are glorious. With that in mind, I might just slightly rearrange this. No, I don't want to go quite so crazy. Thank you. And if I get rid of that one as well, if I was to go and build this, like this, with a transit station there, coming straight out onto a ladder, because yes, we have the ladders mod enabled. That would allow them to get up and do what they need to do. Whilst also continuing to build what they need to build. Takes 10, takes 8, takes 6. So no, it's definitely cheaper to build more efficiently. So it's not just start changing the grounds for the sheer sake of it. But the question I have in my head currently is, why was I doing this? There was a reason. I definitely had a reason, everybody. I promise you I did. I just can't quite remember what it was. Like, in the slightest. At all, I tell you. Like, not a clue. I think what I might do is, let's go and build this right. You know, this is not a right now project. This is definitely a future project. That will go up by 1, so yeah, that's fine. And so what we are going to do is That will sit on there. Yes. We want a couple there. We want them across there, because what that will also demand of me is... Don't need the ones in the middle. Because what I'm going to do is my tubeway is going to go all the way across. And so... have those two out. Let's have these two out. We'll eventually start paying attention to my actual Beaver Society shortly, but it's all working in the background, and we get to play designer, so... Has that worked out properly? Yep, that's worked out very nicely. And then we just want to... Because what I will then, in essence, do... is, as you can see, I will have potentially... Now, I still need to keep designing the rest of this yet, don't get me wrong. But I will have... tubeways on all 4 points. Nope, not so much. Yes. Yes. With, of course, ladders. Which way is me ladder facing? Giving them access to get up from every tubeway. And then every tubeway being linked. I think that's what I might go for. With then houses, etc., and everything else around it. And... I may even... Do you know what as well? Yep, we can save some resources. So from here we should be able to overhang by 3. So if we... Hang on, I just want to make sure I take out only 1. Yep. I should be able to take out all of these corners, because I actually want to use dirt anyway, if I'm honest. So let's... So what we're going to do, because I should be able to use overhangs. Because from 1 here, and then you should be able to overhang by 3. So I should be able to get to the corner. Which also means I can get rid of these ones. Let's make this design more efficient. Now, don't get me wrong. I could probably keep going with the extreme overhang mechanics. But I'm not going to. And... although I say that, we can also then... get rid of this one in the middle. And have a basic scaffolding structure. I might actually be able to get rid of all of this as well. And just have dirt overhanging from there. We'll see. No, wait, but I want the dirt one level down, don't I? Yes. Yes, I do. I can, however, definitely get rid of these. I think. Let's have a look. Because, yep, I'll be able to build the dirt up from here. So that works for those ones. I'll see about these ones. I might just be able to make it a smidge more efficient than it currently is. Because, hey, you're not going to go and see any of it, so... If there was just a singular one by there, I believe I could simply do the rest with dirt. Which would be much, much more efficient. I could also then go and do the same for these ones. And just make little dirt platforms off the top of these for my fast transits to sit on. There you go, there's the end of the drought of the beginning of the next cycle. I'm not paying any attention. What are we up to? 624. So let us go and get our sluice. Now again, these aren't going to be built for a smidge. Yeah. Let us just call them always open and always open. Because they're not going to come into effect for a very long time anyway. So they will eventually join into when our next piece happens. Now we only have one worker missing, and that will be one of our science guys. We have 51 beavers. Like I said, that number should be slowly increasing. It is going up slowly, but slowly is the key to that, unfortunately. But it is going up. Building lacks materials. Right, we are kind of at the edge of our metal production now. So you may as well actually pause for now then. Nothing is using metal. So that's okay. We have a little bit of building that is. We, of course, just need to keep an eye on things like that. But nothing is using metal at the moment. And so we just need to get a hold of... I mean, these things will use metal. We just need to get a hold of... our mine, ideally. Sorry, I'm getting slightly sidetracked about using vertical tubeways. Do I, in essence, just run a vertical tubeway down here and then have that as the support pillar? No, because we can't then put dirt on top of it. That would be insane. And stupid. So I have to decide how I'm going to run that one across into this area. How I'm going to connect all of it up. Of course, then it may as well... I mean, we've got almost like a straight shoot to here, I believe. Yep. Straight shoot right into here. Now, how we decide to go and do that, I'm not entirely sure. That is, in essence, where it will turn up. And now, of course, we do have the problem. Here's me planning all of this with tubeways going everywhere. The fact that the water is admittedly only now 3% contaminated, but it is still slightly contaminated, means our beavers could, in fact, get poisoned. That's not the best thing in the world. Tell you that much. So yes, we do have that slight problem. Now... our mushrooms are all about to cycle round again. We don't quite have mushrooms all year round, but it'll definitely be helping our food in general, because obviously we'll be keeping mushrooms for most of the time. And now we seem to be struggling for planks. Now we're not struggling for logs, which makes me think, why are you paused? Oh, yeah, because the other one was going, but no, we do definitely need a couple more people in planks by the looks of it. Because we are definitely struggling. I suppose we're using a lot of planks at the moment as well, which would make sense because we are... there you go, let's pick something. We are definitely building this huge amount of scaffolding. So yes, we are going to be using a lot of planks. So there will be that as well. But still, let's get producing them a little bit better so that we can, in fact, keep building them. Look, nothing is apparently missing materials. No buildings, etc. No nothing. So hey. That'll simply keep going as fast as my beavers can build. which I will look to get 2 more workers in here, which will get me 2 more builders. When our population numbers continue to increase a smidge. We are up to 55 now. Like I said, we should go up to about 60. And so we should be looking really, really good by the time we're done. Probably pretty good on bad water, huh? We have gone and paused this factory. Let's go and pause you as well. We do now have a couple of spare beavers. Let's go and fill you up. And we're not using bad water anywhere, so you don't actually need to be active either. I would kind of like to try and keep him a little bit active, because it just obviously pumps bad water out of this lake and stops it concentrating. And on that, with bad water down at 3%, I mean, there's still a chance of beavers getting sick on 3%. But the point being, go and unpause those 2. And as soon as this is built in the morning, we will have access to more scrap metal once again. Now here's a point. With the tubes coming up from here, I'm gonna leave a hole in my wall. Just realized that. Although the point of blocking off at the bottom was a good one, it doesn't quite work. Because of course the water goes through them sideways as well. So, how to solve this problem with the minimal fuss? Let's think. So now, in essence, the tube needs to penetrate up through the top of this. So let us... Now, it's not going to be the prettiest anymore, which I will have to decide whether I can live with. That will now, in essence, come up in the corner. It'll come all the way up. It'll then go through the flooring. And then it will just simply pop across into the back of the station. Not pretty, but functional. I could also, which I'm pretty sure I can do, I could also, in essence, have it so the station goes directly into the mine, which I'm sure works, and then have this, in fact, come up just in front of the back of here. Which, again, would work. Would very much work. Yes, I just need to figure that one out. I just need to figure that one out, I think. I think I could live with that. I love how I accidentally right-click a bit too far and everything just disappears under the water. As it should do, as is the whole point and as is the plan as well. $612. Science, you say? Well then, I say. So we do want to blow up a little bit of this, which will cost us 600 dynamite. But you know what? Let's start looking at our transit system, I think. We do need around 2,000, unfortunately, for us to start getting that one going. but it is going to help us massively. Now, I would kind of like to connect it to this bit, but I also don't really want to start building this bit. Bit of a double-edged sword there. Although I would kind of actually like to start building this, because although we do need power, and this does need to happen, I think like this needs to happen a little bit more, because we kind of need scrap metal a little bit more just to keep our metal production going. 2 buildings lack workers, or building lacks 2 workers. No, 2 buildings lack workers, of course. 2 of our science buildings. Yeah, I would kind of like to connect this up, if I'm honest. Because, I mean, we have the materials to be able to build these things. The only thing we need is metal and planks and gears. And so, that brings me back to the question of how exactly am I connecting this up? Where exactly is it all being plugged into? And what's it all gonna look like? Now, so, the level of the water. We are going 1 down from that. So, we can, in essence. No, I am going to leave a space. So we can, in essence, build one of these with a set of stairs so we join up to this path. Let us go mark that in. This, in essence, was a square for us to put another water pump, but I'm going to go interrupt that idea right now. And so we will step down, and with that step down, do you know what? That is only 1 square up, which is where I actually want my station to be, I believe. I'll let you know. Let's go ahead and place it. And nope, it does in fact need to go 1 up, so that's all perfectly fine. That is... oh yeah, I suppose that's... oh god, this is so confusing. Oh dear lord, what am I doing? That is a level of the water. Okay. So we're now in that level. Which is where Tube Station wants to come out of. I think. Oh dear god. I think. Of course, to build this, we need to get dirt. So there is that as well. Which is only going to cost us, 3,000 science. So maybe we do need to focus on our power first. And our building our dam over there. So that we can get some number crunches. Because that'll have some dirt on it. And then we'll have a station. That all works out. So that is, in essence, how that is supposed to look. And how it's going to look. Alright then, I really wish I would stop doing that. Of course, I could just press T and make sure the water's transparent naturally. But, it's all good. And so yes, we'll have a set of stairs down onto this. Will also then be a path. And that will, in essence, connect the central area to this area. And then this will connect to this area. Probably get rid of this pump, just because it's a smidge in the way. That's fine. This area will eventually connect up to here somewhere. Maybe, potentially, I don't know. But there's always possibilities, and that's what we're building. Possibilities, dreams, and hopes. Or something crazy along those lines to sell this plan to all the hard-working beavers who, quite frankly, are underpaid. and overworked. And why do I know they're underpaid and overworked? Because I don't pay them. Alright, and I think with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the episode. We've not really paid much attention to our actual Beaver Society. They've just been working in the background to get this giant monstrosity built. What we have been doing is designing what will be our future central platform, and of course our mine access, which is extremely important. So yeah, I think that's what we've been kind of doing. You know, things have been improving. We've got a few more beavers. We're uplifting our current production on kind of X, Y, and Z, so to say. Now we do have a bad tide incoming, so what I'm actually then going to go and do is say pause and pause. We have gone and slightly built up our scrap metal reserves, but let's not risk anybody for a while, whilst we have that bad tide incoming in one day, as I will forget at the beginning of next episode. So as I've said, there's not really a lot that's changed on the surface. However, underwater there are great plans for great things. And so, until we see you again, as per always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you think about the design plan so far, and if you've got any tips on how to improve what we're currently going for. And so, until we see you again, as per always, I hope that you will stay safe, happy, and healthy.